season about a week to a week and a half away, depending when you are watching this video. Let's take a few minutes and do a quarterback profile for every SEC quarterback. And if you've been following this channel, you've noticed that we've been putting out a lot more content as of late. We've done quarterback profiles for each returning SEC starting quarterback. We've done an individual video. So for these quarterbacks coming up, the only quarterbacks we're doing are new starting quarterbacks or quarterbacks that haven't started a full year. So we're going to start with Connor Weigman. I know he started several games last year and the year before, but we're still using him as a quarterback that hasn't had a ton of experience. So we'll talk about Connor Weigman, Nussmeier, Nico, Arnold, Sellers, Vandergriff, the quarterbacks that don't have a lot of playing time or experience so far. But if you want to go back and watch Carson Beck, Quinn Ewers, Brady Cook, Graham Mertz, any of those type of quarterbacks, we have a full quarterback breakdown, full profile on those on our channel. So with that said, let's go ahead and dive into it. Let's talk about Connor Weigman. He's a quarterback I've been high on since his recruitment, since Jimbo brought him in. I know he's only had 3.5 games last year, was injured. But the biggest takeaway that I saw was from 2022 to 2023, you saw that improvement, even though the competition wasn't great besides Miami last year, you still saw him take the next step, push the ball downfield a bit more, and took care of the football. So the profile, we're going to go through arm strength, accuracy, experience, mobility, deep ball, and have an overall takeaway for each quarterback. Hopefully we do 2 to 3 minutes each quarterback, and then we'll move on. So arm strength, Weigman. I think Weigman has impressive arm strength, capable of making any throw, especially driving the ball downfield. And his background in baseball, I think, helps him be able to throw from any position, have any arm angle, and be able to rotate extremely efficiently and forcefully. There are people on the A&M baseball team and in the baseball world that we know that say if Weigman would have focused just on baseball, he could have been the best player at Texas A&M whenever he was going to potentially play. So arm strength, I think, is a big key and a big positive note for Weigman. Accuracy. The accuracy has been up and down during his short time playing, but I think 2023 showed good accuracy and good strides. And a lot of times Jimbo's offense asked a quarterback to throw a receiver open. And so I think Klein's offense may be a bit more quarterback friendly. Experience, he's gained, for these quarterbacks talking, he has a good amount of experience. We're at 7-8 games starting. So he's not first time starting quarterback, but hopefully this is his first full year as a starting quarterback. He's got good experience still and has played 5 or 6 SEC games. Mobility, I think Weigman is a reasonably mobile quarterback. He can extend plays, make throws in the run. He's going to be more athletic than given credit for, whether that's because of baseball or what. He's more athletic than given credit for, and he's effective whenever he scrambles. About however he wants to throw, he wants to use his legs to buy time in the pocket. His deep ball, I think Weigman's deep ball ability is strong. In 2022, they didn't show the deep ball that much. His yards per attempt, in the 6s, I believe. But I think his deep ball is strong, and you saw that ability in 2023. So I think Weigman's a talented quarterback, strong arm, great accuracy or the potential to have great accuracy. I think Klein's offense could get the very best out of Weigman. If Weigman hits his potential, A&M could be a playoff caliber team. People a lot smarter than me are really high on Weigman, but we need to see a full season. We need to see the improvement continue to happen, and we just need to see a full season. I think it comes down to that. All right, let's go ahead and move on let's go talk about Garrett Nussmeier next. Probably my favorite quarterback that we're going to talk about. Maybe I'm a little biased towards LSU, but I'm excited for him, right? Only one career start, but plenty of experience as far as it relates to backup quarterbacks. The game against Georgia in 2022, the SEC championship game, the bowl game in 2022, and then, of course, the bowl game last year where he started. So let's go through the profile. Arm strength, impressive arm, capable of making any throw on the field, that gunslinger mentality, my favorite type of quarterback, just drop back and let it rip, right? My favorite type of quarterback. I think his arm talent alone is one of his standout attributes. Allow him to throw the deep ball and have strong throws, not just vertically, but horizontally, being able to fit the ball in any type window. I think his accuracy is still developing. I think if you just go off his completion percentage and what happened, you could maybe question the accuracy per se, but I don't think that's necessarily fair. I just think with more experience, the accuracy will come and the completion percentage will come up. But he's taken some deep shots as well, which can hurt the completion percentage. But I think it's something that's developing with more experience and more actual game experience as a starter. That accuracy is going to help. Experience, I think, like we talked about, he's got good quality experience for a backup. Now, that doesn't mean he has any experience starting a whole season. That's a whole new ballgame, but he's got good experience for a backup. He's been the guy in the locker room this past year during spring ball. So I think the experience is better than most quarterbacks who are bringing in a new starting quarterback. Mobility, this is not going to be Jay Daniels, right? No, most quarterbacks in college football aren't as elusive or as fast as Jay Daniels, but I think Nussmeier has enough juice in his legs to be a threat at least. I think he's mobile enough to extend plays like we've seen. I think he's going to use his mobility, maybe not so much as running that Daniels used, but he's going to use his mobility to set up passes outside the pocket or escape pressure and throw on the run. His deep ball, I think this is one of his strengths. He benefits from an extremely strong arm. He's shown the ability to have accurate and impactful deep throws, which when you add LSU's offense, LSU's receivers, I think could be a pretty dangerous usage of Nussmeier's talent. Overall takeaway, talented quarterback, strong arm, the potential to have good accuracy, yet to be a full-time starter, but still experienced. I think his potential, is so high due to his arm strength and playmaking ability. A lot of excitement around Nussmeier, but still got to go on the field and do it. And against USC, we'll see right off the bat how that goes, right? But very high on him. I think he could end up being the top quarterback in the SEC this year. Okay, let's go ahead and hit Nico Iamaleava. I think I pronounced that right. So these next two guys, Nico and Jackson Arnold, are probably the two most exciting young quarterbacks starting in college football. You can make the case for Avery Johnson or someone else, but Nico may be the most exciting quarterback and maybe has the highest ceiling out of any quarterback that we're talking about, especially today, right? All right, arm strength. I think it's no doubt, no question. He possesses elite arm strength and gets rid of the ball quickly. You can tell it's a hypermobile quarterback, at least from how his arm and his shoulder rotates. That allows high arm speed, which usually leads to a strong arm, capable of making any deep throws, driving the ball into tight windows. He's going to be able to challenge defenses at any level with his arm. And look, Heupel had Joe Milton last year, maybe the strongest arm in college football, probably the strongest arm in college football, maybe even the strongest arm in the NFL now. But now you have Nico with not as strong as an arm, but the drop off isn't going to be detrimental by any means, right? He's got still probably one of the stronger arms in the SEC. Accuracy. I would imagine Hooker's accuracy. I would imagine more of Hendon Hooker accuracy than Joe Milton. It may take a few games to get going, and that might not be because he's not accurate. It's just getting on the same page with his receivers, running Heupel's offense efficiently. It's one thing to run it during camp and during practice. It's a total different thing to run it during a game. So I think the accuracy, even if maybe off at the beginning, I think he's got the potential to have Hendon Hooker type accuracy or better as opposed to Joe Milton. Again, it may take a few games to get that down. Experience, obviously, there's limited experience. You had mop-up duties in the bowl game against Iowa. The bowl game against Iowa, you saw some creativeness from Nico, not just throwing with his arm, and that leads us to the mobility. I think he's a highly mobile quarterback, has the ability to extend plays with his legs. He wants to sit back and let it rip and make athletic throws, kind of like Nussmeier. I think we'll see him use his legs to throw more on the run and outside the pocket than maybe running. But against Iowa, he had, 3 touchdowns on the ground? He's a dangerous weapon with his legs. Athleticism makes him a true dual threat option in the deep ball. I think Iamaleava's deep ball potential is high. Like we talked about with Nussmeier, it's high because of his arm strength, because of his accuracy that I think he's going to have, and because of Heupel's offense, being able to put him in a good position. So again, a lot of this stuff is still speculation because he's started one game, but from the recruiting profile and from reports and seeing him play it just a little bit, even at glimpses, I think these are fair takeaways, right? He's an exciting young quarterback, elite arm, excellent mobility. Experience is limited, but the potential is evident. He could have the highest ceiling out of any quarterback in college football this year. So really excited to see him play. People a lot smarter than me are taking flyer bets on him, maybe even win the Heisman. So that should tell you something. Maybe I'm not very smart when it comes to football. I'm just some guy on YouTube talking about quarterbacks. All right, let's go into Jackson Arnold, another young quarterback that people are really excited about. OU quarterback, similar to Nico last year, where had some spot duty, some play duty, had started in the bowl game, had some legit playing against BYU when Gabriel was hurt for a little bit. But besides that, didn't play a ton, right? So let's get into the profile. Arm strength, similar to Nico. Arnold boasts impressive arm strength and he can make every throw on the field. And again, like we talked about, not just vertical deep throws, but he can make throws outside the numbers, those short to intermediate throws that may look quick, but from the opposite hash to the other side of the field are long throws that he is able to throw decisively. And we saw him deliver the ball with velocity and accuracy against Arizona in the bowl game, even with the interceptions. Accuracy. While Arnold has shown excellent accuracy in high school, as most of these guys, I think it's same with Nico. It's getting comfortable in Latrell's offense, and once he gets comfortable, the accuracy will show. Latrell has never had a quarterback as talented as Arnold. His time at North Texas, he had Mason Fine, who I really like because I'm a G5 quarterback fan, but he's never had a quarterback like Jackson Arnold. And we talked about his experience already. He has some mop-up duty experience. He played when Gabriel got hurt against BYU, and then he started against Arizona. So limited experience, but I think Arnold could still look like a veteran halfway through the season. And there's a reason why Gabriel left, right? Because I think he knew how talented Arnold was. Nothing against Gabriel. He's going to be one of the best quarterbacks in college football. But there's a reason why he transferred. Mobility. Arnold's a dual threat quarterback. Good mobility. He can extend plays with his legs. He's a smart runner. At least what we see in the bowl game. He's a smart runner and wants to go whenever the defense gives him a lane to go. Deep ball, like Nico, Arnold's deep ball is promising. The arm strength to challenge defenses downfield. He's going to have that threat to really, really extend and make the field bigger, which should open up some underneath throws, but largely because of his arm. So Jackson Arnold, highly talented young quarterback, strong arm, good mobility, extremely high ceiling. You can make the argument of Nico's ceiling higher, Jackson Arnold's ceiling higher. Who knows, right? I think everything we're talking about is this assumption and going off their QB ratings, but I think it's evident that he's got a very high ceiling, right? So if OU outperforms expectations this year, it's largely because of one, they got a good defense, but two, because Arnold has hit and Arnold developed quicker than maybe people even realized. All right, so let's keep moving on. Who do you want to go to? Let's go Peyton Thorne. He's a starting quarterback who I didn't do a breakdown on. I could have, but I decided to throw him in here. All right, Peyton Thorne, quarterback who transferred to Michigan State, has an adequate arm strength, right? Not a great arm by any means, but capable of making every throw required in Auburn's offense. Has enough for Hugh Freeze's offense. Accuracy last year was not a strength, not a hindrance per se, but not a strength. And that could be argued that he's still getting developed and figuring out Hugh Freeze's offense and trying to feel comfortable. That can take a toll on the accuracy of a quarterback. But I think he's more of an accurate quarterback than shown. Hopefully, year two, he shows more accuracy. He's got a ton of experience starting at Michigan State and then coming here, right? So ton of experience, which is good. You hope that Thorne can take the next step and use Auburn's newly talented, brought in highly touted receivers, and they can make a shot because those receivers. Hopefully those receivers make Thorne better. And there are people a lot smarter than me in college football, like we talked about, that think if Thorne can just be average to above, Auburn can be pretty good, and they can bring in an even better quarterback next year. Mobility. This is where I think Thorne surprised people last year. In Michigan State, he didn't really show that he was a flashy type of runner. Here in Freeze's offense, his mobility is one of his strengths. He was able to run a lot more, not just extending plays, but they had a lot of design plays for him to run. So I think this was a pleasant surprise for Auburn last year. His deep ball, not his strongest suit, right? Only 13 completions where the ball was thrown 30 yards or more downfield, and 4 interceptions came off those throws. But you hope that with more experience in Freeze's offense, that becomes better wide receiver cast, all that stuff. He should be better this year, but definitely needs to improve in this area. So the overall takeaway from Thorne, reliable and serviceable quarterback, did fine at times last year, but consistency needs to be improved. I view him as a holdover quarterback this year, but year two in the offense, transfer quarterback, he's an older guy. He could surprise some people, right? So even though he struggled fitting into Freeze's offense, he showcased enough last year that Auburn obviously has a belief in him. So don't turn the ball over, push the ball downfield a bit more, and you hope that in year two, better receivers, an older, mature guy, he can take that step. All right, who do you want to go to next? Let's go to, we got 3 quarterbacks left. Again, we talked about Taylor Green, Brady Cook, Graham Mertz, Quinn Ewers, Carson Beck, Jackson Dart, Jalen Miller. We talked about all those quarterbacks on an individual video that we had some film in those videos as well if you want to go back and listen to them. So let's go to Norris Sellers real quick. Just named the starting quarterback at South Carolina, quarterback that South Carolina fans are extremely high. You talk to any Gamecock fan, and they're really high on Sellers. So arm strength, impressive arm strength, capable of making any deep throws. This will be key to utilizing the game, or to utilizing optimizing the Gamecocks offense. If they can, even if they're not extremely accurate, they can just use Sellers' deep ball and strong arm ability. It could help open up some underneath type throws. Accuracy, I just put TBD, to be determined. Right, we really don't know. He was 4 of 4 last year, 4 completions. We're going to see. Experience, one of the most, probably has the least experience out of any quarterback. The least experience out of any quarterback that's now starting in the SEC. Excuse me, I should have got some water. But yeah, he was 4 of 4 last year. Just had a little mop-up duty, and that was about it, right? Mobility. Sellers, highly mobile quarterback, has the ability to extend plays and make things happen with his legs. You can design schemes around his legs, which is probably why they brought in backup quarterback Robbie Ashford from Auburn, so the offense fits if something was to happen, or if something was to happen, they have Ashford. Also, Sellers played soccer in high school, which I think is unique. I don't know if he played baseball. Most quarterbacks are baseball players or something along those lines. An overhead athletic sport, but Sellers played soccer. Deep ball. Arm strength is there for Sellers. Good deep ball thrower. Now, can it lead to accurate throws, right? But the arm strength is there. The potential is there to be a good deep ball thrower. So I think gaining experience will be key for Sellers. I feel like him fully knowing he has a trust of his coaches, like if they have Ashford in some and have designs for Ashford to come in some, that may have a quarterback start looking over your shoulder. So I think completely giving him the keys. I still think you can have designs for Ashford, but I don't think it's great if you interrupt his series or interrupt if he's in rhythm, right? So the fans are happy about Sellers. I am too. I'm excited to see him in action, right? Like I talked about, South Carolina fans are extremely high on him. His mobility should help the offensive line. If he doesn't live up to the hype that Gamecock fans have, do we see Ashford at all? Not just use a certain role? I don't know, but I think you want to give him a long runway to develop if you're a South Carolina fan, or I guess if you're a coach. All right, Brock Vandagriff, let's go with 2 more. Brock Vandagriff, similar to Sellers, but a bit older, right? He's had a few more years in college, at least 1 year, maybe 2 years, if I'm not mistaken, in college, more than Sellers. And look, he was a guy who I thought was going to beat Carson Beck last year for the quarterback job at Georgia. Obviously, I was wrong, and Beck's arguably the best quarterback in college football. So let's dive into his profile. Arm strength, strong arm out of high school. I think this is one of his strengths. And like we've talked about the other quarterbacks, he can throw on the run, go a little more off-platform, different arm angles, but he has a big, strong arm that should allow him to make most or every throw that Kentucky wants him to make. His accuracy, TBD, just like Sellers. Only 21 attempts in 3 years. Experience, basically none. Just like Sellers. Besides camp, besides practice, basically none. The thing that Vandagriff does have is he's been in a winning environment, which I think can help. I think can have some carryover because he's used to winning, being in a good winning culture. Mobility. Vandagriff is a mobile quarterback, has ability to extend plays, throws on the run. I think using his legs could be good for Kentucky, especially early in the season, to settle him down as a quarterback. When I played in college, not very successfully, but using my legs were always good. Getting hit always settled me down to get ready and kind of get into a rhythm. Deep ball. Vandagriff's deep ball potential is high thanks to his arm strength. Again, we'll have to see what Kentucky plans and how they plan to use him. So I think the overall takeaway, Vandagriff is a talented quarterback, was a talented, highly recruited quarterback out of high school. He's getting his first chance to start in 4 years. So he's obviously going to be excited. There's no shame in losing the competition to Carson Beck, who has a high chance of being the first quarterback taken in 2025. So even though there's potential, there's a lot of unknown here as well. All right, last quarterback we'll talk about, Diego Pavia, which I don't know if he's been named the starting quarterback at Vandy. I'm kind of just assuming. Maybe it's Nate Johnson, I believe, from Utah. He's competing as well. Let's just go with Diego. He's a quarterback I like, quarterback I watched a lot at New Mexico State. And he had some stats I could have put up here. I apologize, Vandy fans, if any are watching. I did not. Arm strength, weak arm compared to other SEC quarterbacks. That's okay. They know what they have with him. He still has enough arm to make the throws he needs to make in Vandy's offense. His accuracy, showed fine accuracy, will need to lean on easy passes to keep drives alive and keep Vanderbilt's offense on the field. Accuracy will need to be better in this league. At least Diego Pavia does come with experience starting New Mexico State and really putting New Mexico State in a great position last year, beating Auburn. So he's playing some really tough games. It's allowed him to develop confidence and have maybe a mature outlook, but I think his experience is leading him to having some confidence. Mobility. This is Pavia's strength. He's a mobile quarterback, has the ability to extend plays, pick up yards on the ground. definitely his most attractive feature from a physical standpoint is his ability to run, and he's tough as nails. Deep ball, maybe not his strong suit, but I still think they need to take shots to avoid the defense crowding the line of scrimmage. Regardless if you hit him or not, I think you need to continue to take shots. So the experience and the athletic ability that Pavia bring is a great asset for him and for Vanderbilt. He was able to help New Mexico State turn around that program, and was fun to watch last season. Upsetting Auburn is proof that ability is there, but it has to be done on a weekly basis and needs the team around him to really be playing at top notch as well. Okay, so like we said, we those were what, 8 SEC quarterbacks that we talked about. The other quarterbacks we didn't talk about have their own quarterback profile that we've broken down, and you can find that on our channel if you want to watch those guys or go into a bit more detail. But if you're an SEC fan or quarterback fan in general, please like, share, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And again, if you didn't see your quarterback, go back to the channel and watch them. There's more film and a deeper dive than just the 2 to 3 minutes that we took on each quarterback. But please, if you like this type of content, we're going to be putting out SEC quarterback content on a weekly basis. So please like, share, subscribe, follow us along. It helps the channel grow. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Peace.